So guys, I got some very interesting statistics to share with you guys here in China, all right? Sales stats, revenue, ranking, all this kind of juicy info. It's gonna blow your socks off. But first, NIO won a very prestigious award and NIO CEO was there to accept the award. Very nice. Have a listen to what he said.
非常荣幸的获得了安弗森的优秀的创新型企业，对我是一个巨大的鼓舞和激励。那因为未来一直就是把科技创新放在第一位，技术创新一直都是未来的一个梗塞了。那我们每季已经投入了500个亿的硬币在研发方面，像每个季度的研发投入都是超过30亿人民币，像去年应该是超过了120亿人民币的研发投入。那我们的产品、我们的技术，应该说在中国的高端的智能电动汽车的这个领域是得到了用户的认可。我们在30万以上的高端的智能电动汽车的市场份额一直都是突破40%，在长三角、在一线城市，我们的产品也是受到了用户的这个欢迎。那也是因为这样的一些这个努力，主要是我们在科技创新方面的努力，我们得到了越来越多用户的认可。
Okay, so now let's jump into these stats. These are shared by a NIO top management guy, and wow, I was absolutely blown away. Let's take a look. So guys, there are 3 amazing tables that I want to show you. This is the first one, and I'll explain what this all means. So this is in 2024, the annual sales revenue of the car. So on the left column, you have the different brands, and then here you have the average selling price of the car, which is in 10,000 RMB. And then here you have the total sales volume, which is also in 10,000 units, okay? And then here you have the total revenue from new car sales, and this is in 100 million RMB. That's the units. And then here you have the comparison relative to last year, and if it's red, it's an increase, and this is how much it's increased by. It's in 100 million RMB units. So kind of a lot to take in, but if you look at it, so you can tell BYD, this is number 1. BYD is the number 1 in terms of the amount of revenue they've gotten from car sales. All right, so this is 4,207, okay, and this is in 100 million RMB per unit. So this is quite a lot. And then next you have Mercedes, you have Volkswagen, and then you have Toyota, you have BMW, you have Audi, and then you have Tesla. And then this is in China, by the way. Ito, very interesting. Li Auto, and then here you got Honda, you got Geely, you got Chery, you got Land Rover, you got Buick, and then here you have NIO, which is very interesting. So you can see NIO about 703, that's per 100 million RMB. So that's quite a lot, and you can see that NIO actually has an increase of 151 per unit is 100 million RMB. So this is increase. So you can see NIO is actually gaining revenue, total vehicle revenue. And some of the other guys are losing vehicle revenue, like Buick is losing revenue, Geely, look, Honda is losing a lot, all right? Honda is losing big. Even Tesla, relative to 2023, Tesla is actually losing revenue here in China, which is quite shocking. Audi losing a lot of revenue compared to 2023. BMW losing a lot of revenue, Toyota losing a lot of revenue, Volkswagen losing a lot of revenue, and Mercedes losing so much damn revenue compared to 2023. And you can see BYD gained a whole lot, Ito gained a whole lot, Li Auto gained some, Chery gained some, NIO gained some as well. So this is very, very interesting to look at. And you can tell that in terms of like vehicle revenue, NIO is still like amongst the top, all right? Well, relatively speaking. So they're doing pretty well. And then there's the second chart I want to show you. But if you keep on looking down, you have Lexus lost revenue compared to last year. And then their total revenue, vehicle sales revenue, is actually lower than NIO, which is quite shocking. going down. You have Zeekr here as well. Nissan's not doing too well here in China. They're actually like sort of retreating. And then here, Porsche. Look at Porsche. Total vehicle revenue here in China, new sales for vehicles lower than NIO. Okay, very, very interesting. You got Xiaomi down here. So very, very low actually. Okay, and then Xpeng way down here. This is their total revenue for new vehicle sales. So this one is also very interesting. It's 2024 stats the entire year, but you're tiered everything based on the price of the car. So from 100,000 RMB, 150,000 RMB, 200,000 RMB and above, 300,000 RMB and above, and 400,000 RMB and above. So it's based on the average selling price of the car. On the left, you have the different brands. Here you have the average selling price of the car, and the unit is in 10,000 RMB. And then this is the 2023 average selling price in the same units. And has it increased or decreased versus 2023? And then here you have the amount of sales in 10,000 units. So for example, here Land Rover has actually the highest average selling price, but they only sold 70,000 units. And then this is versus 2023, the sales comparison versus 2023. So at the top of the list, you can see Porsche has a very high average selling price of 852,000 RMB. And this is increased from 2023, but then you see sales have declined for them. Okay, this is Mercedes. Mercedes also very high average selling price, 431,000, and the average selling price actually decreased. So what you're seeing is they're doing price cuts and stuff. So they're decreasing. The average selling price has decreased, but sales have still like went down. Sales kind of slid. Ito at 402,000 RMB, and then their sales, compared to the year before, you can tell that the average selling price actually increased. So Ito's been selling more expensive cars. And then here you have Denza, 354,000 RMB. Average selling price has fallen. Sales also fallen. And then here you have NIO, which has a pretty good solid foothold in the 300,000 plus market, and 342,000 RMB average selling price for the NIO vehicle in general. So this is pretty nice. And even though it's a slight small decrease in average selling price compared to the year before, it's still very, very good, and you can see sales have increased for NIO as well. So some of the notable other guys: Lexus, BMW. This is Voya not selling a whole lot of vehicles. All right, 70,000 versus NIO's 210,000 vehicles. Li Auto, 500,000, but their average selling price is actually lower than NIO. Can you believe that? Li Auto's average selling price is lower than NIO, and they have gasoline. No wonder they sell well. Okay, and if you look all the way down, Zeekr is 282,000 RMB average selling price. Average selling price decreased, sales have increased year over year. So very interesting stat to look at. Now, and here, Xpeng, 178,000 RMB. Their average selling price is very low, and the average selling price actually decreased, but sales have increased slightly. Very interesting. So the last table I want to show you guys is the 2024 discounts. How many cars have gone price cuts and all that kind of stuff. And here you can clearly tell that these are Tesla vehicles. Here is the selling price. All right, the selling price range. This is in January, and then you have April, and then you have December. And then these are all in 10,000 RMB per unit. Okay, and this column right here is the discount in terms of RMB. This is in 10,000 RMB per unit. And then here you have the percentage of discount. So you can see that, throughout 2024, Tesla's been doing some discounts, but not a whole lot, never more than 6%, right? So 6% to 4% price cuts. And then these are mostly in the form of just sometimes subsidies, etc. And then Xpeng, you can see Xpeng, they've been doing quite some aggressive price cuts, up to 16.2% for the P7i, because they were going to launch the new P7 Plus, right? So pretty interesting, up to 11.4% for the G9 as well. Li Auto's been doing some like stable pricing. They haven't really discounted that hard. 5.4%, 5.6%, 4.7% for the Li Auto L9. Very, very interesting. Zeekr, wow, look at Zeekr. Zeekr been doing quite some aggressive discounts for like the Zeekr X, the really small SUV. 16.8% price discount. Wow, absolutely insane. But then if you look at some of the other guys like Mini Cooper, Mini Aceman, 29.1% discount. Absolutely insane. BYD, some of the BYD cars also had insane discounts, like Chin Plus EV, 20.9%. The Tang DMI, up to 5%. Volkswagen ID3, up to 20%. So Volkswagen really not selling that well. Deepal, 4% up to 14%. Yeah. And NIO's not on this list because they didn't really do discounts. They've been giving incentives, right? They've been doing stuff like swap vouchers and all that kind of stuff. So NIO's not on this list, which is kind of good, not to be on this list. As always, stay safe, stay healthy. Peace out.